later, there was a wedding. A wedding. In the village of Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there. Jesus and his disciples were guests also. When they started running low on the wine, oh Lord. When they started running low on the wine at the wedding banquet, Jesus' mother told him they're just about out of wine. Jesus said, "Is that any of our business, mother, yours or mine? This isn't my time, don't push me." She went ahead anyway, telling the servants, just like a mother, whatever he tells you, do it. 6 stoneware water pots were there, used by the Jews for ritual washing, that each held 20 to 30 gallons. So Jesus ordered the servants, fill the pots with water, and they filled them to the brim. "Now fill your pitchers and take them to the host," Jesus said, and they did. When the host tasted the water that had become wine, he didn't know what had just happened, but the servants, of course, knew. He called out to the bridegroom, "Everybody, I know, begins with their finest wines, and after the guests had had their fill, brings in the cheap stuff. But you have saved the best till now." Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I want to teach a little bit for this moment that I have from our new series, our life support series. And if I could title the message this morning, it would be, "I had to be here." Come on, look at somebody around you and say, "I had to be here." Father God, we thank you for your word is blessed. The wedding at Cana signified the start of a new life for a couple. And at this wedding, at the beginning of the wedding, everything seemed to be going really good. They had apparently made it through the vows, and everybody said "I do," and nobody objected, and there was nothing but good stuff happening, and it seemed like everything was going good. It seemed like they had even set up the whole structure of this thing by putting out the best that they had first. This made me think, as we continue this new series on life support, how many of us set up our lives and our affairs in the same way. At the beginning, we make sure everything is good. We're careful and we're attentive to the details of our lives. We want to make sure that we stock our lives with whatever we need to keep it going. This is the same way this wedding at Cana begins, and in the same way, many of us often seem to put our best foot forward in the beginning. And then after we settle into whatever it is that we're in, we get lax and we get comfortable and we get complacent. And the same effort and the same attention that we put into things at the beginning starts to diminish, it starts to shrink, it starts to disappear. And so many of us are guilty of when we first get a job, we actually care. Right. When we first get a job, we actually do our job. We actually care about our reputation and care about what time we clock in and care about what time we clock out, and we don't call out slick. Come on, but we care. We start out right. But after you've been there for a while, you start being all kinds of trifling. Late and uncooperative and negative and sarcastic and indifferent and stubborn and unhelpful, and you're just a mess. And it's terrible that we run out of what we had in the beginning when we were the same ones who were grateful for the opportunity. It was the thing that we prayed for. It was the thing that we came to church and asked the pastor to agree with with us and pray with us for this thing. And so why is it that we often lose interest in things that we said we were committed to so fast? The beginning of something, we're all pressed in the early stages, and then there's this moment where our integrity and our sincere heart for things happen to change. And I wish I had a few honest people in here today who would admit that we all have been there. Amen. Where we need to check our level of care and check our level of concern for the things that we said that we were committed to. Same thing happens in our relationships. When you come into a closer relationship with people, when you first meet him, you have good manners, and you put your best foot forward, and you act like you got some sense, and you wait. Some people wait a little while to let people know they're crazy. Some people. Some people do their best to act as if they have some couth. And then after they get a commitment and after they get comfortable with folk, then that's when they let their hair down, if they, if they have any. The man said he went to go run his fingers through his girlfriend's hair, and he said, but he looked over and her hair was on the dresser. That just is a sign to me that she got comfortable somewhere along the way. And it's one thing to be comfortable in a relationship, but it's another thing to get too comfortable to the point where we run out of interest. Sadly, this happens even when it comes to our love and our relationship and our walk with the Lord. Somebody ought to say amen. The Lord himself, when he was observing his own people, the people of God, and the ones who he had brought from such a mighty long way, and he had done so many great things for them, and he had opened doors for them and made ways for them, and he had caused their enemies to get swallowed up right in front of them. And he looked at them, and in Isaiah 29:13, he said, these people come near me with their mouth. With their lips, they talk a good game. They honor me with what they say. Y'all quiet in here today, but their hearts are far from me. And see, your heart can be a whole nother thing. You can say a lot of stuff, but your heart can be a whole nother thing. And so, sadly, this is the way the church is today, still towards the Lord. We seem to have time for him in the beginning. Amen. In the beginning, when we first got saved. Come on, when we first came to Christ, most of us had to come to him through crisis in the first place. And so we had to have our heart broken. We had to find ourselves in some broke, destitute state in order for us to realize that we couldn't call on nobody but him. And then when we came to him and found him to be a healer, and found him to be a way maker, and found him to be a heart fixer, and found him to be a mind regulator. Come on, I got anybody in here that know what I'm talking about. Once we found him to be real, then we came into a relationship with him, and nobody could stop us from getting to the church house first. Nobody could stop us from serving. Nobody could stop us from giving God our best. We always had time to pray when we first fell in love with him. We always made time for him. Come on. And spending time in his presence. But somewhere along the way, many of us are guilty of losing our passion for him. Church folk, the people of God, we are so easily distracted. We are so easily distracted that as soon as God blesses us with stuff, that's when we forget about God. As soon as God opens the door for us that we prayed for him to open, that's when we get amnesia and forget the fact that he's the one that opened the door for us. That's when we forget that he's the one that made the way for us. That's when we forget that we didn't have the credentials, but he opened up the door and he caused us to be promoted and elevated in ways that we never would have been if it had not been for the Lord who was on my side. life support. For needing the help of a machine or some extra machine or some extra thing to keep me alive. And if it had not been for the Lord who was on my side, men would have swallowed me up. But he brought me up out of a mighty long way. Come on, he brought me out of a horrible pit. Come on. And even when it was the intentions and the prayers of my enemies that I fall, he said, that's my daughter. That one belongs to me. Come on. And no weapon formed against me has been able to prosper. David said, I once was young, but now I'm old, and I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed out begging bread. So during this life support series, we're going to help you. Look at somebody and say, we're going to help you. We're going to challenge you and remind you what you said you were called to. Come on. We're going to help you. Come on. Because that's the kind of support we're approaching this from is not that we're about to die and the machine is going, you know. The support we're talking about is so that you don't get to that place. The support we need is that after you give your life to Christ, you need some folk that can help you walk this walk. Come on, it's called discipleship. We don't talk about that no more. It's called mentorship. Come on, it's called praying and helping other people get to the next. Y'all gonna let the bride be the only one? Come on, come on, it's called helping people get to the next level. You just don't have a baby and just let the baby survive on its own. That's wild nature. That's animal nature that does that stuff. But when we've been called to birth people and help people come to a different level of consciousness about who they are, and we've helped them to understand that your identity is in Christ Jesus. Your identity is not wrapped up in the things that you thought they were out in the world. Things that kept you broke and depressed and in a state of mind where you couldn't even figure out whether you were coming or going. But when we get to a place where we realize where our hope is, we've got to have some help around us to help guide us. Deliverance is a process, somebody. Somebody ought to say it's a process. You just didn't get to where you are today by yourself. Somebody had to pray you through. Somebody had to help you. Somebody had to coach you and mentor you and help you to get to this place. Your mouth wasn't always this clean. Come on, your mind wasn't always like this. Your heart wasn't always like this. Somebody helped redirect you and said, no, that ain't the right way to think. So we're going to help you with that. If you want to be helped. Because see, here's what I found out is you can't make nobody be nothing that they don't want to be. And the last thing we're going to do, especially going into 2020, is trying to fight wars for people that don't want to show up for their own battle. Come on, the last thing we're going to do, come on, is try to pray you through something that you enjoy. The last thing we're going to do is try to help pull you up out of something that you're committed to. Come on, if you're committed to that lifestyle, then go on and have it until he brings you to a place of humility. We're going to be right here praying for you until you come to yourself. You got to remind people about what they said they were committed to. So that means we've got to be called to some level of accountability. Look at somebody say accountability. It's a cuss word. I know it is. It's like a cuss word nowadays. Because who do we answer to? I don't answer to nobody, but that's a lie, because every month you better pay that bill. Otherwise you ain't going to have no place to live. Come on. I love these thug gangsters that don't answer to nobody, but I bet you make sure you stop at that traffic light. I bet you make sure you stop there because you got some warrants. Come on. I bet you listen to some... You got that thug life. Until you see the... You accountable to something. We got to have some level of accountability in our lives. Otherwise, we'll live recklessly. And so we got to have people in our lives who are not afraid of us. Come on, people in our lives who are not afraid to call us on our stuff. Come on, people who are courageous enough to tell us that you need to get your act together. Come on, because you can't start off one way and then just drift and decide that you want to just act any old kind of way. No. Not when you're in a system of people that are trying to support you to your next level. And so if you want to hang around a bunch of turkeys, then you keep on being around people that got the same issues as you. And all of y'all are comfortable being trifling. And all of y'all are comfortable living the way you live. And all of y'all are comfortable living beneath your privilege. But when you come to yourself, when you come to a place of knowing that you're a king's kid, come on, that you're a royalty, come on, that you're a chosen generation, come on, then you cease to allow yourself to live in conditions that are not meant for you. Somebody say, I had to be here. Come on, I had to be here. This word is for me. I had to be here. I had to be here. I thought I was just here for a wedding, but I'm here for a real celebration. Come on, I'm here for a celebration because this is the first day of the rest of your life. Come on, this is the first day of the rest of your life. If you decide to make a decision today to stop living beneath your calling. You need some folk that will call you to accountability and tell you that, wait a minute, that ain't the same fire that you had before. I told Mitchell and Danielle the other day, they want to sit next to each other. I said, but keep that same energy. Go ahead, sit close to each other. Keep that same energy. Because see, what I can tell you is, come on, being married almost 26 years, that there have been some days that I'd rather you sit all the way over there. But I'm in an accountability system that's like, hold on. Wait a minute now. Come on, I got some folk in my life that ain't afraid to tell me. You said. Let's be real. So, I mean, some of us are just too doggone old to keep picking up new interests every week. Come on, some of us are just too old. Come on, to never stick to what we said that we were called to do. Come on, we're just getting too old. Come on, you got to commit to something. Hear somebody say, commit to something once and for all, and then stick it out. Commit to something once and for all, and stop making excuses why you can't keep your commitment. Commitment has got to last even when the feelings pass. Come on, because commitment ain't got nothing to do with feelings. Sometimes I feel like a nut. Sometimes I don't. You know? And so this thing called commitment has got to outlast your mood. It has got to outlast this idea that, you know, we grew apart. Growing apart is a decision. Come on, just like staying together is a decision. When it comes to whatever or whoever you believe God has brought into your life to bless you and to help you and support your life in some kind of way, you got to make a commitment to do all you can do to keep it sweet. The wedding had run out of the source of sweetness. In the world, they call it a dry reception. That means there ain't no alcohol. It's dry, no wine at this wedding. And many of us are stuck in a place in our life where it's dry. And listen, you might have all the alcohol you can buy in your house, but it can still be dry. Because this kind of sweetness is not reliant on some substance or some drink. Come on, it's not contingent upon having something to cope with your life. Come on, and so this word is for you today. Look at somebody say, this word is for you today. When everything seems to be dry, when everything seems to have dried up in your life, life, from your marriage and to your relationships and to your enthusiasm, your excitement for life, and to your dreams. Come on, some of y'all know y'all dreams done dried up, and your creativity done dried up, and your passion for life has dried up, and you settled in a place called settled. You settled in a place called compromise. Come on, you settled in a place where you know you deserve better than what you're dealing with right now. Dry. Come on, but when the wine is present, wine, which is on the menu at this wedding ceremony, it's often a metaphor in the Bible. And it's a symbol of divine grace. Somebody say divine grace. Divine grace. It's repeatedly compared to intimate love in the Song of Solomon. So what happens when it feels like the wine, or the grace, sweetness, intimate love, or the passion or desire you had for your life, or for somebody in your life, or something in your life runs out? Who do you turn to? What are they escape song? Who can I turn to? See, you gotta know who to turn to. Right. Yes. When you reach those human moments. Because relationships, here's what I found out about relationships: no matter how nice folk act and no matter how together they are in church, there's a different one of them when they go home. They ain't always gonna be giving you flowers and romanticizing you and whining and dining you. You know it. Some days it's gonna be lack, no money. My husband said, "I have no money." What are you gonna do when you hit those moments? Listen, life is not a Tyler Perry movie. It is not the soap opera. This is not The Bold and the Beautiful, The Young and the Restless. Come on. God and light. Come on, y'all better stop living your life fantasizing off of these TV characters and thinking that the person that you hook up with is supposed to be like the person that you see on Potomac Housewives. Come on now. Because that's the reason why most of your decisions are messed up, because you're taking advice and counsel from people that don't have a bit of wealth or substance in them. How you gonna get wine out of somebody that don't have no substance? You trying to get wine out of some bitter old lady. I don't care if that is your mother, your aunt, your grandmother. Come on, I don't care who it is. Come on. Question for my life support series followers is, who do you reach out to for life support when you are in crisis? Who do you reach out to when there is a shortage in your life? See, one of the mistakes you'll make, you go borrow it from somebody that's going to hold it over your head for the rest of your life. You'd be better off going to a bank than some of your family members. Come on, because at least they just going to call you. The family member going to call everybody and tell them, you know I gave them this. Question of who do you turn to? Who do you go to when you run out of resources? This is, to me, important to know, especially for those of you who made a commitment to making your life a reason to celebrate instead of a reason to be depressed. Come on, my life is a reason to be happy, not a reason to be downcast and upset. And nobody's job but mine to find ways, come on, to celebrate my life. If don't nobody else celebrate my life, I'm going to be celebrating my life. If ain't nobody else going to be happy that I'm alive, I'm going to be happy. See, that's the problem. Some of y'all waiting on other people to be happy. They waiting on you to be happy. Be happy about your own existence and then somebody else will catch up with you. But until you actually get a real sense of understanding that some people did not wake up today, but you did. You do not realize how privileged you are. And so if you sit there and sulk and He said, come on, I've learned that in whatever state I find myself in, I have learned to be content. That's a good wedding advice right there, Richard. Whatever state I find myself in, I've learned to be content. Come on. That takes some real maturity to get to that place. Cause see, you can be a victim, but if you're a grown-up, then you've got to be responsible for your life. Somebody say, I'm so glad you're here. Come on, I'm so glad you're here today. I think you needed to hear that word. Anybody sit next to somebody they know? Come on, somebody who's always complaining, somebody who's always depressed, somebody who's always got some criticism or complaint about life. Come on, say, I'm so glad you're here today. Don't be afraid. Say, I'm so glad you're here today. You needed to hear this word today. Because I'm so sick of you calling me with your foolishness. I'm so sick of you texting me. I'm so sick of you thinking you can reach out to me and drain me dry. I know I'm talking to somebody in here today. You're just scared of them. You ought to say, I'm so glad you're here today. Get a life. Some point in this banquet, the wine ran out, y'all. The grace ran out, and the bride and the groom were stuck making their first decision together on how to handle shortage. All right. Ain't nothing like that first one, right? Nothing like that first one. You off that honeymoon, and then you back to reality. And you got to deal with something real. If there's anything you can take away from this message today, is that you've got to decide what your approach is going to be when you find yourself dealing with life. You got to decide that. I talk to people all the time when again, you want to get me all upset because of what you do. I'm not upset. I don't choose to get upset with you. I will excuse myself from negativity. I will excuse myself from environments where I'm not welcome, where I'm not appreciated. Okay, ain't no sweat off my back. I'm on my way to go do something I enjoy. Because I understand that life is what I make it. Life is happening to all of us. Listen, you ain't the only one who need new brakes. Come on, you ain't the only one that's having some issues at your house. Come on, you ain't the only one that got some health stuff. Come on, my back was hurting so bad last night I had heating pad hooked up. I said, Lord have mercy, dang on Mitchell and Danielle. I be working. I feel it in my back. It's a fact that like the stuff runs out. It runs out. Sometimes it's going to be lack. Sometimes it's not going to be enough. And you've got to make a decision to handle life or allow life to handle you. Come on. It's your approach. It's your mindset. And many of you, the reason why you are so dramatic about everything in life is because you're comparing yourself to other people. Can I help somebody in here today? You on social media, you compare your life to somebody else, and that's half the reason why half of y'all depressed and half of y'all hating on people. Come on, because you only seeing a certain reel of people's lives. They're not showing you their falls. They're not showing you their mistakes. They're not posting, my lights got turned off today. This stuff is happening though. They're not telling you I ate oodles and noodles tonight. They only showing you the steak dinners. They only showing you the stuff that is getting you all riled up, and then you going home don't be going home telling him, I want to go on a date too. What if you don't have no money for that? Thank God for a roof over your head. I tell you, one of the sexiest things my husband can do is pay that mortgage every month. dinner. We can have one, but we ain't got to have one. Jesus said, in this life you're going to have trials and tribulations. He said, but be of good cheer because I've overcome the world. Come on, I've overcome the world. And you sit here stressing out over Sprint. They gonna turn me off. Sprint don't be playing neither. You gotta make up your mind. Listen, decide I am not going to catastrophize life every time something happens. Oh my God. Calm down. It's not that serious. You know, you snotting and sniffing and you didn't work yourself into a headache and you didn't worry everybody, the dog's scared and people's dogs on medication for anxiety because they living with you. Here's my whole preaching point for this message tonight. And this is a word not only for Danielle Mitchell, but it's a word for anybody in here today that there is nothing that the Lord can't give you the grace to handle in your life. No matter what seems to run out in your life, there's never a shortage when Jesus is in the midst. Come on. Somebody ought to give God praise for that. There's never a shortage when Jesus is in the midst. And some of you can't praise him because Jesus ain't in the midst. He's not part of your life. You have not made him part of your life. He's a gentleman. He's not going to knock down the door and be like, I'm here. I'm going to take over your life. No, that's what the devil does. The devil come in your house and sit on your good furniture and put his feet up. Right. But he says, behold, I stand at the door and knock. Any man that opens, I'll come in and I'll sup with him. See, you got to accept him into fellowship and relationship with him. So this blessed me because even when the wine ran out, it looked as if the whole thing was going down the tubes. When it looked like the wedding was not going to be considered the wedding of the year no more. That's the exact moment that happened to be the right conditions for the miracle to take place. Somebody put that. Can I tell a couple of y'all in here today that nothing is going to happen until you put Jesus on the guest list first? Come on, I know you invite uncle and auntie. Come on, I know you invite them to these events. Come on, but you got to make sure you invite them in. Come on, invite Jesus into your midst. Invite Jesus into your circumstances. Invite Jesus into your lack. Invite Jesus into your deficit. Invite Jesus into your shortage. Come on, any time that there's a situation where you run out, that's when Jesus can run in. He says, in your weakness, I'm made strong. Come on, I'm just waiting for you to depend on me. I'm just waiting for you to call on me. I'm just waiting on you to say that you need me. Come on, the situation has got to get dry, so dry that when nothing is left, that's when you start to see the miracle take place. Come on, tell somebody the wine won't start to flow in your life until things get dry enough. Come on, your life ain't dry enough. Come on, you're not tired enough. Come on, you're not over it enough. Come on, you still haven't had enough of it yet. But when you get tired of it, that's when Jesus will say, I got supernatural supply for the lack that's in your life. I got an unlimited resource. Come on, when you say you need me, I'll step in and I'll supply everything. You're not tired enough yet for a miracle. When you get tired enough, come on, when you run out of your excuses, come on, when you run out of your game, when you run out of that little attitude problem that you have, come on, that's when Jesus will move on your behalf. Come on, I look like I got a few witnesses in here today. Jesus wants to step in and do something miraculous in your life. But you got to run out of needing to rely on your strength. Wow. Admit that you have run dry. Come on. Come on, empty is a place that he can fill. Come on, empty is a good place for him to fill. He's not going to go in and fill in places where you are still in control. Come on, he doesn't need to compete with you. He doesn't need to compete with your will. He doesn't need to compete with your agenda. He doesn't need to compete with your plans. Come on, he says when you step out of the way, that's when I can step in and I can be God.
Hallelujah.
Sometimes God needs your resources and your plans to fall in order for him to say, I got this. Come on, that's one of the problems many sisters have. Y'all too independent. That's why you can't find a man. Now, and not that you can't find a man. I'm talking about a man that will make a commitment to you. Because see, when you're strong, see what happens is when you overfunction, then the other people in your life don't need to step up and be who they are supposed to be. I know I'm helping somebody. This is life support. This is life support. As long as they know they can rely on you to pull them out, then why would they need Jesus? Why would they need to cry out to him? Why would they need to say, Lord, I need you? I want a man that loves the Lord. Well, you want a man that loves the Lord, then step out the way and let him be a man. I've just set my ways. Okay, go ahead. Be by yourself. Be strong. But what's the need to be strong when God has sent a blessing into your life? What is the use for you to operate in areas that you don't need? I know I'm preaching right. That's why I'm getting resistance right here. I know I'm preaching right because I'm getting resistance. I feel it. Y'all was hallelujah before that, yo. Women need love. Amen. Men need respect. Yes. Wow. See, that's why you don't have to sit there. You don't need to go home and try to do all these romantic things. He don't want no rose petals. He don't want no candle. Like that's what you. I mess with this on Tuesday. The Bible lets us in on one important detail, and I'm going to move out the way and let them get married. In order for the miracle to take place, certain people had to be present at this wedding. Look at somebody and say, I had to be here. In other words, some of you have positioned people in your life that have created obstacles for you to have the relationship that God would really have you to have. This stuff show up with weddings all the time. I had to get ignorant with people before. Listen, we're not fighting in no way. This family against this family, the Bloods and Crips or something. That's my boy. My daughter. Why would you stand in the way of somebody that loves your child? Your family member. You don't want them to be loved because you ain't loved. You got to put the right people on your guest list. Here's what I'm learning. See, I say this all the time. Some of my family members, I'd say they ain't my family. They're just a bunch of people related to my parents. Because family is different. See, you can't be so tied to history that you dishonor your destiny. You can't be so tied to people and what they want for your life. Why don't you figure out your life first? Instead of you trying to figure out my life, figure out your life. It don't seem like you're doing that good with your stuff. Don't worry about what's going on over here. Let people make their decisions. Let people have their failures just like you had. Let people choose what they choose. Come on, get out of the way. You need the right people on your guest list. Some people at celebrations are nothing more than spectators who come to do nothing more than watch and see what's going to happen, and that's fine too. David said, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies." So everybody's welcome at the celebration. Come on, whatever your intentions are, come on, that ain't up to us. Come on, every time you have something, there's all kinds of people in the midst, and you can either be preoccupied with what their intentions are or the fact that you are the celebrant. Come on, you can focus on the fact that there's a table spread for you, and there's a celebration for you. Come on, that's what your life is. Your life is a party, and instead of you worrying about your haters and your naysayers and the people that are coming against you, you ought to focus on the future. You ought to focus on the prize. You ought to focus on the fact that God still got plans for you. You ought to focus on the fact that in spite of what they want to do to you, God wants to do greater things in you. I haven't seen, ear haven't heard, neither has it entered into the hearts of men that things that God has in store for you because you love Him. Everybody's not going to have the right intentions on your guest list. Just know that some people are on your guest list and their presence is genuine too. Come on. Come on. Some people, their presence is genuine too. And some people who think that they have different intentions, they really don't. They just got fear speaking to them. Fear of failure because they've experienced failure. And they don't want that failure for you. The wedding was stocked with all kinds of guests. And what I love about this wedding at Cana, that out of all the people there, somewhere on that list was a guest or two who had something more to offer than just a gift card and a punch bowl. Come on, believe it or not, this support wasn't revealed until the wine ran out. Come on, can I tell you that until you hit hard times, you won't really find out who's really got your bag? I done lost the whole trip. Come on, until your resources run out, you won't really find out who's really there. Come on, in the hitches with you. Come on, in the trenches with you. Who's there to fight with you? Until you have your first argument, you won't find who's really for you. Some people will start saying, "I told them they shouldn't have got married." Why is it so quiet in here? Until things get dry, you won't really know who the real gifts are in your life. Until things dry up and there's such a famine in your life and such a shortage in your life, many of us would have thought we still had a bunch of friends. Come on, somebody. You ever thought you had a bunch of friends and then you find out that when you don't have nothing to offer them, they don't call you no more? Am I the only one? Come on, am I the only one that has been there for people and then when I need people to be there for me? Shortage will teach you a lot about the people on your list. Shortage, come on, lack will show you a lot about the character of the people you're rolling with. Because you can't expect folks to have the same heart as you, but you'll find out when you get yourself in some trouble. Find out when you lose something. Find out when you don't have nothing to help nobody else with. How many people gonna help you? A lot of the people who were present at this banquet were fine as long as they had plenty of wine. Look at somebody and say, "Look, when the wine ran out." Come on, I feel like preaching right here. When the wine ran out, that's when they found out who was there for them and who was there for what they were giving out. Come on, you've got to be able to make a difference and know who's there for you and who's there for what they can get out of you. You've got to be able to, it's going to sow for you, but you got to find out everybody ain't your friend. Everybody's not there for you. They're there for what they can get out of you. And when you run dry the thing that they thought that they could get from you, you won't see them no more. Got to find out who came for life support and who came just to observe. The Bible says Mary, the mother of Jesus, was present there that day. It says that Jesus and the disciples were present that day. And if you ask me, Mary represents the kind of person you need on your invite list. Come on, for every one of your life events, you need to invite somebody like Mary. Not because her husband was a carpenter, come on, but I believe that Mary was such an important guest to have at this wedding because she had a son named Jesus. Come on, I want people present in my life who got a connection with Jesus. Come on, I want some folk in my life that know how to call on Jesus. I want some folk in my life when they see my stuff is about to go down the tubes, that they know who to call on. And so when she showed up, her son was right there with her. That meant that when the resources ran out, she was able to draw on her relationship with Jesus. And Jesus was able to draw on his relationship with the Father. Come on, you need some connected folk at your parties. You need some connected folk. Come on, not that they know political people, not that they're social elites. Come on, but they're people that know how to get a prayer through. And I don't know about you, I'm glad to have some kind of people in my life who have a connection with Jesus. You got that kind of connection with Jesus. Look at somebody and say, I had to be here. From these kind of covenant connections, I've learned that there's not one resource that I'm not able to call out for help when I'm in need. Whenever I feel I'm at a deficit, without resource, and I'm feeling defeated or tapped out, I've learned that there's nothing that he's not able to help me with when I'm properly connected to him. I wish I had a church in here today. I'm never without anything. No matter what the crisis or the issue is when Jesus is present. This couple, Mitchell and Danielle, have an amazing future ahead of them. Because they know what to do when there's a shortage in their lives personally. And now they'll know what to do when there's a shortage in their life collectively. They'll forever be equipped with the wisdom needed to stay connected in fellowship. Because they're connected to God and they're connected to people who are connected to God. Somebody ought to give God praise. See, they're not connected to folk that when they have a problem will say, I can't stand him. I knew it. I knew she wasn't right. They're not connected to people like that. Not in this house. Not in this house. Get connected to people who, when they see your wine run out, they know how to call on Jesus for more grace. You have found an ability to find the sweetness in your marriage, in your circumstances, no matter what, no matter how dry it gets. Your life support system knows how to intercede on your behalf. Look around. You know the prayer warrior. Look around and just say thank you. Just say thank you. Thank you for those who know how to call on Jesus on your behalf. Jesus' mother was an intercessor. She told them when the shortage came in their marriage to do whatever Jesus says.
Amen.
That's my charge to the both of you today. That when things run out, do whatever Jesus says. Peace. Do what Jesus says. When joy runs out, when money runs out,
Amen.
when your strength runs out, do whatever Jesus says. When the compassion seems to run out, do whatever Jesus says. Whatever he tells you to do is what you need to do. One last thing I'll say before I move out of the way is, even though Mary was influential in helping them get the wine back, Mary moved out of the way and took the focus off of herself and put it back on Jesus. That's so good right there. Nobody in here is your source but Jesus. See, we make the mistake, especially in families of people of color, is thinking that you got to call Big Mama. You got to call Daddy and Mama, and you got to check with them for every decision. But there's so much wisdom in what Mary did, is because Mary put the focus on Jesus and she stepped out of the way and said, do what he says. This is good instruction for all of us, that no matter what goes on in their house, that our only responsibility is to point them to Jesus. That's our only job. Our only job is to point them back to Jesus. What did Jesus say? And if you don't know what Jesus says, then you need to stop listening to all these other voices and take some time to let him speak to you. Because I found out that even when it seems like he's not talking, if you get quiet enough, he'll speak. Do I have any witnesses? Jesus said, it's not even my time to be doing this. But because of the authority in Mary, she was able to pull something out of Jesus that he didn't even plan on doing that day. When you got some real intercessors in your life, they'll be able to pray you into some stuff. Come on, that even Jesus was like, all right, I'll do it. I'll make a way for them. Because somebody was interceding for them. You need real people close to you in this season. Jesus turned the water into wine. Water represents life. And wine, divine grace. So when the grace seemed to run out, Jesus brought a miracle into their life. Amen. Come on, he'll turn that thing around. He'll turn that thing around. He'll turn that thing around. The host called out to the bridegroom. Said, everybody I know brings out the best stuff later. After the guests have gotten full off of the cheap stuff. But you brought it out last. You brought out the best last. What happens is we often put so much energy into doing it big first that we run out of steam when it's time for us to complete stuff. And so save some good stuff for later. Come on, these young people nowadays feel like they gotta do everything in 3 years. You don't have to have the same kind of house, the same kind of car as your parents. Worry about keeping the sweetness in your relationship. Somebody say amen. Now I'm gonna move out the way.